Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jean-Francois. I am honored to be here today with you. So I want to thank the Assisi Institute to give me this occasion to speak about what I call the archetypal field of Star Wars. I will try to speak as slow as possible. As you know, the speed is the route to the dark side of the Force. So I will try to speak as slow as possible, and so I will try to be as clear as possible. My English is not my first language. Okay, so I will divide my speak in 4 parts. All right. Okay. The first part, I will explore the Force as an archetypal energy and how the Force is deployed through character and all the Star Wars movie. We will cover the trilogy of Star Wars, but first we will try to extract what is the main idea behind the Force. And we will make some link with the libido energy and how this energy is attracted to archetypal theme in the Star Wars universe. So that will be my first part. My second part, we will explore the 3 levels of the trilogy of Star Wars, and we will dig into the character of Star Wars. And my method is to look at the character like as a dream. So like this character attracts some archetypal energy, and we will explore what the character has special and what is the special energy of those characters in all the trilogy of Star Wars. Not only the heroes myth as Joseph Campbell have explored, but we will explore other character like Han Solo is a very interesting character to explore, and Rey. Rey in the last trilogy, she's a very interesting archetype. She incarnates the sacred feminine, and so we'll explore this character in my second part. In the third part, we will explore the idea of what is the meaning of the lightsaber, because for the Jedi, lightsaber is very important. It symbolizes the energy that is mastered by the Jedi, and we will explore what is the archetypal meaning of the lightsaber and the laser as a way to divide the world and to enlighten the world too. So we'll explore especially this energy in the third part. And in the fourth part, in the last part of my speech today, we will dig into the archetype of the Hieros Gamos. This is a very important archetype explored by Jung, and it means the balance between masculine and feminine. Because we'll see that Star Wars is all about trying to balance polarity and try to reconcile the opposite. And this is very present in the archetype of the Hieros Gamos. Okay, so and we will have some clip of the Star Wars movie to illustrate my ideas. Okay. So let's begin with the Force. What is the Force in Star Wars? Of course, we have the dark and the light side of the Force. I will connect the idea of the Force with the idea of desire, or the libido in the psyche. If we dig into the etymology, I don't know what is the etymology in Russian, but that will be interesting to look at the etymology of desire in Russian. And you will see that I have a special connection with Russia, because I will talk a little bit with Sabina Spielrein. She was very important in the exploration of the libido energy. Okay, so what is the etymology of desire? So desire, the verb desire, which came into English into the 13th century, it came from the old French désirer, or sidus, and sidus, sideral, meaning star. So that gives you a little insight about Star Wars. Star Wars is the war and the dance of our desire through space and time. Because the energy of the desire is spread all over the generation of all the character of the Star Wars. We will look at the transgeneration theme in the character, because this trilogy spread through a lot of time and a lot of space. Star Wars not all about space, but it's also about time. And we'll explore this energy of the libido, how the libido, or the desire, the energy of the stars inside of us, is being attracted in one direction, or we are opposed in other direction. How this energy evolve in our psyche, and how this energy is attracted to some motif that Jung call archetype. And so there's two sides of this energy. The dark side of the desire, or the dark side of the energy of the libido. It's symbolized by the Sith character. The main character, it's Darth Sidious. So it's very clear that we have a very good example of the dark side of the Force. It's symbolized by the master of the Sith. So Darth Sidious. The main energy, when it's on the dark side, it means that it's a fear. So desire is transformed into fear, and fear is an information in the psyche that you have to protect something. When we fear something, it gives you information about something to protect. And the Sith, they protect only the ego. They attract all the things inside of them. They try to attract everything into the ego level or the individual level. And so they use the Force as to control things, change, because libido change, but they are afraid of change because they attach their energy to event, to people, and then after attaching or entangled the energy of desire through character, they have fear of lost the thing that they attach the energy. So that's the main energy of the Sith, and we will see this as the Darth Vader. Darth Vader is characterized by the fear of change, and so he don't like change. So he try to control change, and then he want to control the galaxy and all the universe. So this is a side of the energy of the libido, the energy of desire. Is it related only to the ego, or it's related to the others, or we can say as a Jungian to the self, or to the collectivity, or so is the energy is for using for the benefit of the all the people, not only from ourselves. So the energy of desire, when is on the side, the light side, symbolized by the Jedi. So Jedi accept change, and they go through change, and they are flowing into the change of thing, and so they are alive. They are in contact with the energy of transformation, natural transformation in life. So that's symbolized by the Jedi. And you will see that the root of Luke Skywalker. Luke is losing is a lot of things in his life, but he don't react as to control. So he go through the change up in opposition of Darth Vader, who he want to control the change. So we will check how this energy of expressing life, or going through the flow of changing in life as the Jedi, and how this energy is being condensed into the ego, into some character. We can look at the energy of the desire, the seduce energy, as the energy of the star, of the black hole. So there's two kind of energy. Now there's this is the same energy, but not going into the same direction. So that will be a thing that we'll explore on each character in the Star Wars universe. Let's dig. Oh no, just before. So let's talk about another level of desire. So as we know that Freud and Jung was in conflict about the idea of the libido. That lead this the concept of libido lead to a dividing point between those men. But what's interesting in the dynamic of the energy of the libido or the desire is that between Jung and Freud, there was a feminine figure, very important, that tried to balance the force, if we can say. So that's Sabina Spielrein. So if you have an occasion to look at her work is wonderful. It's fantastic. His main article is The Destruction as a Cause of Becoming. And so we can look at the energy of the desire as the desire try to attach into a world that we know, or the energy go into the past. That's symbolized by the myth of Oedipus. So when things change, we try to look in our parent in the past. We are attracted to the gravity field of our parents. So that's symbolized by the one aspect of the energy of libido, symbolized by the Oedipus complex. But Jung brings something very interesting about the libido, is that maybe there's something about the future, that something attracts us into the future, not only into the past, but into the future. And the myth of that is symbolized by the Holy Grail, the calling of something inside the psyche or in the future. And where Sabina Spielrein brings something interesting into that dynamics. So she explores why we are not interested more into the future. Why future feared us? And what Sabina Spielrein explored is that our rivalry is not only for the past, our parent in the past, symbolized by the Oedipus complex, but our rivals are also the future or the descendant of our species that became in conflict with us. This is very present in Star Wars. The conflict of generation, the new generation that carried something from the past, but the father, we will see the father like Darth Vader, when the Anakin Skywalker became a father, when he had child, he became Darth Vader. So Sabina Spielrein explored that the energy of libido is linked to the fear of the other, but the fear of the other in our future. So maybe Sabina Spielrein wasn't the first to talk about why we don't work more into the hope of our future children. And so she said that they are our rival in the unconscious. So that's because we don't work a lot to give our children a more beautiful future for the planet. So that's a theory that's interesting, and it's linked to Star Wars, because Star Wars is also about the generation, the conflict and generation, and we will explore that into more detail. Okay, so that was my first part about the libido energy and the desire as a star, the energy of a star that go in direction of the past, or in direction of the ego, or try to go into the direction of the future and to the others. Okay. Let's dig into the 3 levels of the Star Wars trilogy. The first trilogy, episode 1 to 3, we can attach this to the energy of the father and the dark side of the archetype of the father, or the archetype of the king. The dark side of this is the tyrant. So how Anakin Skywalker as a child, became the tyrant that we know. As Michael Conforti said, and he gave us a lot of insight about this, is look at the beginning of a dynamics. The beginning of the dynamics of any stories give you insight about the process that will be unfold after that. So what's at the beginning of the journey of Anakin Skywalker? We have this image. So Anakin Skywalker was a slave. He's a slave. He lives on a planet Tatooine. He's a slave. And he was building C-3PO. C-3PO is very symbol important in Star Wars because he represents the eye, the look. C-3PO is the only character that goes all the 9. He is very present from beginning to the end. So it represents the eye, the entity that look at the story and the entity that tell the story too. But Anakin, in relation to the machine, so he's a master of machine. So he's very he's able to use machine. But what is special with Anakin at the first time we see him? So he is in contact with the building of a machine, and he will become a machine. So that tells us a very interesting thing about our relation to the machine. Are we using the machine, or the machine are using us? So right at the beginning of the journey of Anakin Skywalker, we have this relation with the machine. And that reminds me a very important quote by Albert Einstein, who said that what is the main characteristic of our time? It's we produce a lot of mean, but we have a lot of confusion between the mean and the goal. Or we have a confusion between the tool and the goal that we try to reach. So Einstein addressed this problem that addressed into Star Wars, the energy of the desire. When our desire is attached to a machine or is attached to a thing, is it this thing that lead us, or are we driving from inside, or we are driving from the machine, or from the mean, or from the tool that we use? This is a very important motif in Star Wars, and we have it right on the beginning of episode 1. He also, the beginning of Star Wars, really in relation with his kind of anima, or feminine figure, Padme. At that time, he didn't know that he will fall in love with Padme, but we have this at the beginning of the story. So we have Anakin in relation with a tool, and he will be possessed by the tool, and in relation with the energy of anima, symbolized by Padme. And just in that episode, he also in contact with Qui-Gon Jinn, who is the master, the symbol of a master. What's interesting about the relation between Anakin and Qui-Gon is Anakin didn't want to become a Jedi, but when he met Qui-Gon Jinn detect in Anakin something special. And that's a very important theme in Star Wars. How do you look at things? How do you look at the people? So Qui-Gon Jinn has a very wishful look at Anakin. He see in Anakin a lot of power. That's one part of the Star Wars that a lot of fans don't like when we are talking about the structure of the Force, the midi-chloridian. I don't remember the name exactly, but there's what's the name? Midi-chlorian, the thing that structured the Force. So that was a kind of funny thing, but George Lucas was very interested about that. But so Qui-Gon Jinn see in Anakin that he has a lot of power, and he want to train Anakin. So how you look at the people, how you look at the machine, or how you unlike what you are in contact, it give a force. because the force is spread and it's enlightened into encounter. There's encounter in our life that ignite or raise the energy that's inside of us. That's a work that I've done with a book I wrote called Necessary Chances. There's synchronistic encounter in our life that deploy energy, our energy, in a way, in a dark side or in a light side. So it depends on us, because Anakin meet Qui-Gon, and after that, just after that, Anakin meet Ben Kenobi. And so it was Ben Kenobi who trained Anakin, because Ben Kenobi see the good into Anakin, but it lead to something very dramatic at the end of the trilogy, because Anakin was trapped into another kind of energy and another kind of look, Palpatine. And we have to talk about Palpatine, Darth Sidious, because this is very important character in all Star Wars, and Palpatine will make a return into the episode 9. We will see Palpatine as a return. What's interesting about Palpatine is he look at people not as people. He look at people as thing, or a way to make a profit, or a way to use them. So Palpatine as a Sith don't have his own energy. He only having his energy through the people that he transform into thing, or he transform into object. So when he encounter Anakin, he see that Anakin discover love, Anakin fall in love with Padme, and then he exploited the vulnerability of a person that fall in love, because Anakin has a dream of losing Padme. So he was fear of losing Padme, and then Palpatine, Darth Sidious, exploit this vulnerability. And then slowly, as Anakin was confronting all the loss of his life, the change, the natural change of life, he became trapped into the black hole of Darth Sidious. Darth Sidious see Anakin as a very powerful dark tool, and he construct a dark star. So that's interesting to look at how you look at people. Darth Sidious look at things that only related to him. There's nothing exist outside of him. It's like a black hole. So Anakin fall in love with Padme and his journey, his fear of loss, and then the energy of fear, like gravity, trapped into the black hole of Palpatine and Darth Sidious. And then he fall, and then he became Darth Vader. So Darth Vader cannot live by himself, so he's a machine. So like at the beginning, like C-3PO, so he became a machine. What's interesting about the energy of those characters, it's the two levels of violence. The violence of Palpatine is the violence of the spider, or the violence of not the direct violence. It's more like the virus, or like something that like enrolls slowly the victim. Darth Vader is an energy of violence, but direct. He has the direct impulse. But you have two way of seeing violence. And Palpatine is a very strong archetype of the virus energy, or the terrorism, or so working with fear. So and it's an archetype of our time. It's the dictator that work on the fear of the people, and then slowly take the control of the person or the country. Because episode 1 and 3 is also about the birth of a father, because Darth Vader, when he became a father, he became also Darth Vader. So that's very interesting. And Palpatine create the kind of tyranny into the galaxy in that episode. And we know that George Lucas was inspired by Nixon. At the beginning of the story of Star Wars, he see Nixon as a tyrant, as a dictator, and he called the Sith the Nixonians. So that was interesting. Okay, so we have the first trilogy is a character that is being trapped into the machine, and when he fall in love, he discovered the fear of loss, and Palpatine exploit this fail, and then Anakin became the thing that he's afraid. So he became a machine and not living by himself, because he don't accept change. He want to control, and then he want to control his wife, and after he want to control the galaxy, and so control. It's like it's like an addiction. Dictator and addiction has a lot in common. Addiction is the absence of diction, the absence of words to explore or to deal with the world. So a dictator or addiction is you want more of something, more control, more of things that don't satisfy you. So that's also related to desire. Okay, let's explore the second level of the Star Wars trilogy, episode 4, 5, and 6. What's interesting about this is we discover Star Wars by beginning with the 4. So 4 is the first. The beginning of Star Wars. So that's interesting that we begin with 4, because we know on the Jungian theory that the number 4 is very important as a totality. But let's dig into the hero's journey of Luke Skywalker. What is the journey of Luke Skywalker, and how is different from Anakin? We have the journey of the hero by Joseph Campbell, but we will not dig into that. So the main illustration of the route of a hero of Luke Skywalker is someone who desires something, symbolized by the star. He make a representation of that. And then he encounter an obstacle. And what obstacle Luke encounter? The loss of his uncle and his aunt. So he loses the person that are very important in his life, and then how he will react. At that time, he has also synchronistic encounter. He met 2 droids. That's interesting, because the 2 droids came from his sister. His sister Leia is trapped into the dark star of her father, but at that time, Leia didn't know that Darth Vader is his father. Either Luke don't know that Darth Vader is his father. So Luke is searching for his father at some point, but the dream of Jung is he want to be a pilot. He want to be in mastering of the pilot. So he want to be a skywalker. He want to walk into the sky. He want to pilot, to be a pilot. And then after that, he had to become a Jedi. So that's interesting about the energy of desire. So his desire is in confrontation with the obstacle. It's changing routes. And then he discovered the lightsaber. We'll talk about it in the next point. But so he meet the representation of the kind of the self. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi that look at him free. So Obi-Wan, if Luke don't want to be a Jedi, Obi-Wan say, okay, that's okay. So it's your choice. So it's a very different look that the Emperor that look at Anakin Skywalker. So Obi-Wan will train Luke in the episode. And then after the training of Luke, he had to make a choice. The choice of Luke is, do I use a machine to destroy the center of the star, or I use my instinct, I use my own intuition. And so Luke will use his intuition, his own instinct to destroy the technology. And this is interesting. This is a thing that is very important in Star Wars. If you want to fight technology, don't fight it on the same field. You had to go another level, the level of the instinct, the level of the force in that case. Okay, now we will have a little clip on the episode 5, because we have talked about a lot about the hero's journey. But what's interesting about Star Wars is also about the twins. It's also about the journey of Leia also and Han Solo. Han Solo is a very interesting character because he became as an egoist person, and through a process of falling in love with Leia and then being trapped into ice on the spin planet, he became more altruism. So Solo also is a process of integration, individuation process, as we talk about Jungian. But it's also a process that is very interesting to look. I chose a scene where, as talking about the beginning of a situation, as Michael Conforti said, the episode 5 give you all the main character. Luke meet Yoda, Leia and Solo fall in love, and we had the first apparition of Darth Sidious. So we will take a look at that clip.
R2, stay and watch after the camp.
Oh, where is R2 when I need him? Sir, I don't know where your ship learned to communicate, but it has the most peculiar dialect. I believe, sir, it says that the power coupling on the negative axis has been polarized. I'm afraid we'll have to replace it.
Well, of course I'll have to replace it.
Here, Chewie.
I think we better replace the negative power coupling. Hey, your worship, I'm only trying to help.
Would you please stop calling me that?
Sure, Leia.
You make it so difficult sometimes.
I do, I really do. You could be a little nicer, though. Come on, admit it, sometimes you think I'm all right.
Occasionally, maybe. When you aren't acting like a scoundrel.
Scoundrel? Scoundrel? I like the sound of that.
Stop that.
Stop what?
Stop that. My hands are dirty.
My hands are dirty, too. What are you afraid of?
Afraid?
You're trembling.
I'm not trembling.
You like me because I'm a scoundrel. There aren't enough scoundrels in your life.
I happen to like nice men.
I'm a nice man.
Very nice.
Sir, I've isolated the reverse power flux coupling.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're perfectly welcome, sir.
And that, Lord Vader, was the last time they appeared in any of our scopes. Considering the amount of damage we've sustained, they must have been destroyed.
No, Captain. They're alive. I want every ship available to sweep the asteroid field until they are found.
Lord Vader,
Yes, Admiral, what is it?
the Emperor commands you to make contact with him.
Move the ship out of the asteroid field so that we can send a clear transmission.
Yes, Mother.
What is thy bidding, my master?
There is a great disturbance in the Force.
I have felt it.
We have a new enemy. The young rebel who destroyed the Death Star.
Okay. Usually what I like in presenting clip is to have occasion to explore the meaning with the group. So now I will be limited to myself, but what's interesting is to exchange our point of view about clip of movie. There's a lot of things in that I wanted to explore. It's mostly how the energy is spread. So there's a problem with coupling energy, and then we have this dance between I want you, I fear you, and so this is a kind of movement in the Force. Between Leia and Solo, there's a dance, and this is the first contact they have. I present this character because those characters will be very important in the trilogy 7, 8, and 9 because they are the parents of Kylo Ren. But that's interesting to look at this dance and how Solo fell in love and it became his own individuation transformation. Because in that episode, he will be trapped into the dark side of the commerce. He will be betrayed by his friend Lando Calrissian. Lando will be in the episode 9. So that's interesting to look at these characters. They are very interesting. But this is interesting to look at how Solo fall in love in the energy of love and the integration of the opposite, because he became more open to the other, and the journey of Solo will be open to other. So that's a very important scene in all the Star Wars. And just before that, we have the scene where Luke encounter Darth Vader also for the first time, because Luke will go into a cave and he will face his own shadow trapped into the Darth Vader. So we have this episode 2, and also we have the relation between Darth Vader and Palpatine, Darth Sidious, and the field of asteroids. So the communication is not good. There's the disturbance in the Force, and then Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader learned that he has a child. Now he is learning from Palpatine. That's the child that's perturbing his Force is Luke Skywalker. So all these events are very important about the energy of the desire, libido, how it try to balance, and the obstacle. C-3PO interrupt the relation between, so the machine interrupt so there's a lot of things, and I would like to have a discussion with you about this scene, but now I will have to go. But this is, and it's central to the Star Wars trilogy. Okay, let's go into the episode 7, 8, and 9. Those episodes, they give a lot of interesting stuff. We don't have a lot of information about episode 9, but that give a new kind of hero. It's Rey. We don't know exactly who is she, but she is very, very strong. And this is interesting in Star Wars, that we have the Force, but the feminine, the sacred feminine, as a very strong character. So Rey, we don't know which his parent is, but she is a very strong energy, and she incarnates the sacred feminine energy. And this is very interesting to have this kind of hero for our society, because Rey will give balance into the Force. And so we discovered this character, this feminine character, in episode 7. Episode 8 give us something very interesting. We see that Leia is also very, very strong, because Leia is able to go into space without a suit. So she's very connected to the energy of the Force. And so that scene, for me, it was very, I found this scene very interesting. So Leia surviving in space. And we have also Rey in that episode that tried to look at his past, what is his past, and she encountered a mirror with a replication of herself. This scene is very important because as Luke enters in the cave, he sees Darth Vader inside of him. Then Rey sees a copy of herself. And this is the dark side, one of the dark side of the Force. It's the impossibility to let something new happening in our time, and it's symbolized by the child, as we talk about the energy that Sabina Spielheim said. That's our main fear is the future, the cold of the future, because we don't know the future. We fear the future, so we have tendency to read the past and read also always the past. So this scene is very interesting about the deepest fear of Rey. It's to don't have access to the other. So she's being trapped into a repetition of her. This is also an archetype very important in Star Wars, the clone, the copy of yourself. So the difficulty to have something new in your life, the repetition. And this is our level of the archetype when it's trapped into the fear. And so episode 8 is very important about that. And then episode 9. At the time that we have, I'm recording this video, we don't have a clue about episode 9. But searching on the internet, I have found this image of Rey dancing with Kylo. We have it into. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I will go into that. So we see Rey in relation with Kylo. Kylo is the son of Han Solo. He killed Han Solo in those episodes. And then we have a very interesting deployment of the energy of the opposite, or the individuation process of all the Star Wars trilogy. And that leads us to the archetype. I think I will have to pass this very, very fast. It's the use of saber, but because I want to go into the archetype of the Hieros Gamos. But just before going into the Hieros Gamos, the lightsaber, the color of the lightsaber is very important. Then you see that they have the same color of the lightsaber. Usually the lightsaber is blue and green. So blue for the Jedi, the light and the sky, and red for the dark force and like the Darth Vader. And you have also the lightsaber of Kylo Ren. Is a kind of tree. He has a tree part. But what's interesting about light and the lightsaber, it acts like a division point, where I divide the world into light and dark, where I divide the world into what I desire and what I want to destroy. So laser is a very symbol at how you look at thing, how you desire thing, or how you are attacking thing. And the most powerful symbol of that is the Death Star. What is a Death Star? Is a star that don't have life on the star, and it's killing planet with the laser beam. And what's interesting in Star Wars is when you see that Luke is trying to mastering his energy, symbolized by the lightsaber, he is playing with a little Death Star. He's playing with a little sphere. And at that time, you see Obi-Wan that is perturbed, is in state of chaos, because just before that, the big sphere of the Death Star was killing a planet. So that scene is very symbolic of the different level of trying to mastering this energy. The big star that shoot laser into planet, and you have Luke Skywalker try to mastering his desire or the Jedi energy, the Force on the Jedi side, by mastering the lightsaber, playing with a little sphere at the same time that a big sphere is destroying a planet. So that gives us a lot of interesting point about how we deal with the laser or the way we enlight things. Do we use our laser to help, or we use our laser to destroy? So I find that this is a superposition of level of energy that is very interesting. Because in a lot of places in Star Wars, we see the Jedi mastering the light side of the Force, but it's symbolized by the lightsaber, and the gun that flow the laser beam in every direction it's the opposite of that. It's the chaos of your energy. So this is an interesting point. Okay, so we are at the last part of our presentation. I was talking about the dance between Kylo and Rey. We have this in episode 8, and this is one of the most beautiful dance of the opposite we have seen in all the Star Wars trilogy. Because what's the novelty of the new trilogy? It embodied the archetype of the Hieros Gamos. What is the archetype of the Hieros Gamos? It's the sacred marriage of the opposite. It's a symbol very important in Jung. He talked on a lot of place in his journey. He said that in the next year we will have to balance masculine and feminine in all level of our life. So what are the most fundamental level of our opposite, masculine, feminine, positive, negative, but also space and time. Space and time, they are fundamental and archetypal point of division in our relation to the world. And this in Star Wars episode 8 and 9 is very well symbolized. Rey and Kylo in the archetypal way, they symbolize space and time. Space and time that are playing with possibility. They are trying to balance each other. And this is embodied in the symbol of the Hieros Gamos. There's a representation of the Hieros Gamos. If you have seen if you have listened to the Leonard Cohen disc, new song for old ceremonies, you have this into that. Leonard Cohen, the musician, embodied the archetype of the Hieros Gamos, the reconciliation and the dance and the fight between masculine and feminine. So we have this in the episode 8, so trying to balance between masculine and feminine. And Luke Skywalker is afraid of this. We will see more in the episode 9 why it's so dangerous. But we have this dance. This is another symbol of the Hieros Gamos, or the reconciliation of the feminine and the masculine. So Hieros Gamos is a monadic twin merging, and then the avatar of Christ embodiment into the monad. So it's kind of the Christic energy in integration of all the part, because on the Christian mythology, or the symbolized by the Grail, we have to balance all the energy. And Star Wars is a representation of the balance of the energy of masculine and feminine, integration of those polarity, in a Christic energy. And what we can say about the Christic energy, it's the energy of love, love of all the opposite, the reconciliation and the love in all opposite. And this is the journey of Ray. Ray is incarnate the kind of love for everything she encountered. As early as the beginning of his journey, she is in relation with a robot, and she had to live to have some food. So she had to choose between food and his relation with the droids. And so she chose to help the droid instead of having more food from herself. So the journey of this kind of sacrifice for the other, but the energy of love. So we can symbolize the Ray as the energy of love and the reconciliation of the opposite. And I'm very curious to see how it will deploy into the episode 9. But we have a little clue about episode 9. We have this scene where we see Ray and Kylo fighting an energy. We don't know exactly what this energy is, but it's certainly in relation at some point with Darth Sidious, Palpatine. So how we can confront fear, because this is the main idea that is explored in episode 9. How you transform fear is by the love of opposite. And this is very present in Star Wars. The reconciliation of the opposite and the curiosity on the opposite side, and not only be afraid of the other, and be open and curious to the novelty and to the other in all the sense we can say about the other. So this is it. I hope you enjoy my talk. It was my first time I was speaking to a screen because I don't have your reaction. Usually I like to play with reaction with the people. I hope you have enjoyed the speak, and you will have occasion to explore Star Wars in a more archetypal way. Try to look at the archetypal field of that, and try to look in your own life. How you reconcile the opposite in your own life. I want to finish this presentation with something that is completely outside of the box. I will present you a video of Jung talking about the alchemical process of the integration of the feminine, and on the symbol of the axiom of Maria. Maria, you will see the archetype of, not the archetype, the axiom of Maria Prophetessa. So I will leave you with Jung, and I thank you very, very much. I thank Assisi to give me the occasion to give this talk. So see you later, see you soon, maybe. So may the force be with us.
Time is child that plays like a child. It a game on a board. The kingdom of the child. Then Telesphorus. This is the name of this little figure here. He is the familiar spirit of the god of the physicians, Aesculapius. The text says, Telesphorus, traveling through the dark spaces of the cosmos, and rising out of the depth like a star, he points the way, par e ilioiopulas kai demononairo, to the gates of the sun, and the land of the dreams. The latter is a quotation from Homerus. Then you see a division into four parts. Here are the three lightnings, one river. It's the ancient idea of paradise with its four rivers. Three were supposed to be equal, and one has a double meaning, and that's the one here, the river. This is an old alchemistic secret, the so-called axioma Maria. This Maria has nothing to do with Mary, but with the Maria Prophetessa, or Judaica. She was a philosopher in the time of Hypatia. That was another woman philosopher living in Alexandria about the 3rd century. It says, this axioma says, from 1 comes 2, from 2, 3, and from the 3rd comes the 1 as the 4th. This axioma has played a very great role through 1700 years of alchemy. Then you see here the sign of the sun, here the sign of the moon. On the left side, Jupiter, on the right side, Venus. Saturn above, Mars below. These four planets are the so-called division into four, the tetrameria. Here, on the body of the child is a sign of Mercury, and he is supposed to be Mercury, or Hermes, the messenger of the gods. The text refers to him as the one that points to the region of the Westland that is supposed to be the land of the dead.
How do you see him as a figure in history? I mean, do you...
Well, I think he's one of the most important men of this age.